Hi, I'm Sonny Atis, and welcome to the Flatiron Building.
So I'm going to start this off. I'm Kimball Dunn from Knight Frank, Sydney, and I'm over here in, obviously, New York. I've got the great privilege of being able to speak with Sonny Atis, who has been the building superintendent in about 3 weeks' time for 30 years. So he's part of the fabric of this iconic New York building. Sonny, in Australia with my company, which was up until recently your company as well.
Right.
The building manager is the spokesperson for the owner of the property. And when we transact buildings, the new owner coming in always says to us, I've got to meet the building manager. We call them facilities managers or building managers,
Alrighty.
not superintendents. Your role is probably one of the most important, yet it's very undervalued in the process. And I think the reason for that is simply that you're the person every day that interacts with the tenants.
Without a doubt, yeah, without a doubt. I interact with the tenants, I interact with the owners, the community, the city the way it is now with the local business improvement districts. I get to involve myself a lot with those people also.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm lucky enough to get to be a voice for the Flatiron building, for the building itself, and even for the owner, yeah.
Now it's painful coming to work each day to deal with leaks and boiler rooms that aren't working and all of the complaints that you get with that. But every now and then you get a nice story.
Sure.
In recent times with the Wall Street Journal, they actually picked up on your relevance to this building. They built
That's
a couple
correct.
of stories around
That's
the building
correct.
and then yourself.
Yeah.
Did that make you proud?
And, it was nice to be recognized. You know, it's nice with all those headaches to say, well, you know, there are lowlights and there's highlights. And with that story, for them to focus on me as the super of the Flatiron building, I was so appreciative. I was very happy. I was overjoyed, to be honest.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that that's a valuable lesson for all of us, that this particular role is very significant to the ongoing ownership and the tenant comfort and the revenue that you derive from the rent that the tenants are actually paying.
I feel that developing a good relationship with the tenant where they trust me, where they trust my judgment, where if they ask me for something, to do something, that it's going to get done, and it's going to get done in the right manner. They don't have to follow up on me. I ask their opinion. How would you like, these tasks done? So when you develop that good relationship, it's good for everybody.
Yeah.
It's good for everybody. The owner also.
Yep.
I feel like I want to be a good representative for the owner.
Yeah.
The owner doesn't have to be standing here at all times. The owner has to do what he has to do somewhere else. I have to show that I'm capable of running this building here.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, going back over the history of the ownership of this particular building, we find that we've got an owner, Aaron, who has actually passed away, who was the reason for buying these properties. He decided that he wanted to own properties on corners above subways. So in the 50s and 60s went about buying property when other people didn't think it was a particularly good idea. So he bought well. You told me a story about what happened in what you call a financial crisis, which we called the global financial crisis of 2007, 2008. And I think you mentioned that there was a calling of a meeting by Jeff. You weren't sure what was going to happen.
We weren't sure, but as you know, the focus of the meeting was as this financial crisis was going on, that now is the time to really work on our buildings, get good pricing, work on things that maybe we had set back a little bit, but now is the time to approach them by getting good pricing from different vendors. It's twofold. We got the vendors, we got people who might be out of work. Those guys are working, and we're getting good pricing, and we're still developing our buildings, still upkeeping it, not shunning away from cost, but building up the building.
So really, a meeting where you thought you could have lost your job.
I don't know about that. We were hoping, but
turned into a meeting.
yeah.
We're going to do something that other owners aren't going to do.
That's
We're going
correct,
to take
right.
advantage of the time.
That's correct.
And the fact that we're financially stable.
That's correct.
To go out there and improve our buildings, because we know that the tenants that are going to want to occupy the building at another time,
Right.
let's say, are going to insist on good quality services.
Sure. And
now's
so
the time
we
to
were
do
able
it.
to continue that. We were able to just keep the ball rolling and keep the tenant happy.
Yeah.
You know, keep the tenant. The present tenant that we have is a great tenant, and we were able to keep him happy. Yes.
So let's talk about this tenant.
Sure.
It's called Macmillan.
That's correct.
And I think you mentioned to me, were originally many more companies, but they've kind of consolidated.
That's
into
correct.
one.
Yeah.
Last year when I was here, that tenant had decided to sign up on leases in I think about 2 or 3 different locations. I fully expected when I got here that they would have vacated and that you would have been on to marketing the building, but in fact they're still here and probably going to be still here next year.
Hopefully so, yeah.
What's the feeling within Macmillan about the move out of this building to some other location?
Well, that's a company decision on their part. A lot of their employees, they live in the area. I'm sure a lot of them still want to stay in the building. Yeah, they would rather stay here in the building.
And do you think a lot of that might relate to the different style of work environment that they think is going to be created? More that open plan, anonymous styling that we call activity-based working versus the kind of luxury of having your own office and privacy?
It could be, but I look at it the other way. The Flatiron building is kind of a home to a lot of people, you know, and the shape of the building, no matter where you sit, you have a window near you. You're able to look at the outside. So yeah, maybe where they're moving to is not the Flatiron building.
Okay. Now, in terms of an icon, you said to me that people are coming here every day and trying to sneak in and get up and have a look at the building.
People want to always photograph the building, yes.
But you've had a lot of interesting things happen here, the filming of movies,
Sure.
and also small groups of students that are interested that have come here, and in fact, you know, possibly those that may not have been able to afford tours to other more exotic locations, and out of the grace of your heart have decided to take them on a lengthy tour.
I enjoy that. I enjoy talking about the Flatiron building.
Yeah.
I've been here long enough to get enough knowledge, get enough experiences, and get enough stories to be involved. And I like to share that. It's without a shadow of a doubt. I enjoy reaching out, whether it's other companies or kids, just sharing a Flatiron story, a New York story.
Yeah. And with those great celebrities that have come here, and I know at some stage we'll visit your basement room downstairs and see those many photographs and signatures, but Hulk Hogan, the wrestler, some of these people that have come here?
Actors, singers, politicians, athletes, I can go on and on.
Who are your favorites?
Some of my favorites, I think meeting Paul Stanley from KISS was great, meeting James Comey, an FBI director.
Wow.
I mean, I
Just
just
a big seller of books at the moment, isn't he?
He's hot right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any people that you haven't enjoyed the company of? Celebrities that you thought might have made a bigger effort?
If I took a picture with them, I enjoyed them.
Well said. Very diplomatic.
Here I have a piece of the original revolving door molding that was exposed to the outside to the street. Something that I found in the building, which you would never have in a building nowadays, not PC. That's an original mirror, 1902, still in place, with the molding up on top. The patent on here is 1899. I keep all this stuff. I love showing it. I love showing it. John Oates, by the way, Hall & Oates.
Oh, one of my favorites.
Let me tell you something about Hall & Oates.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something about John Oates.
Yep.
In that picture, he's 69. That's 2 years old, so he's 71. John Oates must spend 2 to 3 hours a day in the gym. John,
Yeah.
God, you're in shape, brother.
Yeah.
That's the same day. So I tell Peter, I like your shot better. He goes, why is that? Because here I am with a snowblower. I'm the only guy you see in the picture with a snowblower.
We always talk about flat irons around the world.
Shaft going up to Broadway. It's a lot of cold, man. They must have done it daily. Just get deliveries daily.
So you're at home.
Yeah. Let's say that. I probably spend more time here than I do at home. That's for sure.